Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us as we discuss issues relating to keeping children in school in the post-COVID-19 era. And we're being joined by Ms. Stella Blaize of EduMarshals Limited in Nigeria to discuss that. Good afternoon, madam. Hello, madam. Hello, madam. I can't hear you.
It's surprising. Yesterday the weather was really nice.
So can you hear me now? So if you, madam, can you hear me now? It appears that the network at the other end is problematic. So we are having issues with connecting with our guests. Madam, can you hear me now? Anyway,
Okay, Amos, I can't see you and I can't hear you, and I don't know. I think it's to do with the weather because it's pouring here in Abuja. So yeah.
All right, but can you now? Because I can clearly hear you, and I don't know what's going on.
You're coming on and
The
off
other end today, which is about. Oh, that's
okay.
that's the network at your end then.
Yes.
You can see you clearly here. Just like season, once in a while, it's season. So anyway, I think perhaps we'll just have to
The
continue like
session I
that.
had yesterday
So
was really nice because network was okay yesterday, very okay. Once it's raining here in Abuja, usually the network isn't right. It fluctuates.
that's the issue we have to deal with today. So let's just start. If you can hear me now, let's start with EduMarshals.
I can hear you. Yeah.
All right. What is EduMarshals about? Unfortunately,
yeah.
Hello, madam. So I said that. Tell us something about EduMarshals.
Okay. EduMarshal is a program that was founded in 2013, and this was based on the research we conducted with my team members, and is to do with education. There are 5 arms to EduMarshal. One, the out-of-school children, which we know as at 2013 we had about 10 point something million children out of school. Presently, it's 14.8. And although in some quarters they are saying it's 13 points, either way, it's in millions. So that's what EduMarshal does. One of the arms EduMarshal deals with, which is out of making sure children that are on the streets are returned back to school. We work with the government. And then another one is CPD, which is continued professional development for teachers. And then there's another arm which is called special measures, helping the state to decide which schools need intervention, serious intervention. And then the fourth is work experience, where we have an agreement with the Ministry of Education, the commissioner, or whoever is in charge, so that we're able to allow a particular year group go out there to experience what it is to be in the work field. And then the fifth one is revamping. We help to revamp. For example, there's a school in Abuja here. There are a few schools in Abuja here. We've been able to assist to recreate, revamp the structure, the play group, and yeah. So everything education, really, that's what EduMarshals is all about. We keep growing. So the more problems we see and we know we have the solution, we add it. So presently we have 5 arms.
All right, thank you very much for that. So, in case you are not familiar with EduMarshals, to our audience, in case you're not familiar with EduMarshals, you must in the Nigerian laws, there's a compulsory free universal basic education act of 2004. Nigeria makes, and the government, the law makes basic education compulsory for all children at the primary school level up to JSS 3. And in that respect, the law
primary
stipulates
and junior secondary school.
And junior secondary. And the law stipulates that any parent that doesn't take their child to school could be prosecuted as a result of that. So what EduMarshal is doing in terms of the
let me elaborate on that.
Okay, you didn't talk about that really. Maybe I would just want to. All right. So what EduMarshal is doing in that respect is to assist government in achieving that aim of getting more children back to school.
Yes, so, and actually,
please, can you tell us more about how you do that?
Which is called the law, which is called the CRA, a Child Right Act. And sadly, it's not all the state that has domesticated this law, which is in the state's Child Right Law. I think out of the 36, including the FCT, 37, only 26 states have domesticated this law. And there's a session, part 3 of session 21-22 actually covers what we're doing, in the sense that there are consequences for people, parents, guardians who do not allow this child or these children to enjoy their rights. So in other words, when children's rights are being trampled upon, which of course we see all over the place, you understand? So the law actually backs what we're doing, even though not directly, but indirectly what we're doing. There's a law that backs us up. So if we find children, which we do find every day, going about the street, hawking or tranting, sometimes parents, sometimes even teachers who send them out to go to the market or things like that. So if only the law, I would say one of the things that EduMarshals is doing is helping to bring the law to life, because the law is already there. It's just how many people are ready to pass this law on or to bring this law to life, so that those who are offending, parents, guardians, or even teachers who are offending, going against the law, if the sanctions are meted out, then of course every other person will learn and not treat the child otherwise, as in maybe send the kids out and all that.
All right. So moving on to the subject of today. So let's start with what's the evaluation of today? How would you evaluate Nigeria's education response to COVID-19? The education response to COVID-19 in Nigeria, how would you evaluate that?
Sadly, I would say it's quite poor, because there's no quick fix to this. I always say anything in education, there's no quick fix. We can't just say because there's COVID now, because of the pandemics we have now, that solutions can be easily gotten. No. For one, the developed world, they are having online schooling still going on really. But sadly, we can't even try that here. Why we can't try that here is because there's nothing in place. Apart from the students or the pupils not having the means or the device, a lot of teachers, maybe I should say 50-60% of the teachers don't even have a clue about how to use the internet or how to use the device. Now, this is something I'm talking from experience, because every day we're out there, we see them. So the government before now should have had policies in place making sure teachers I taught abroad. I couldn't get into teaching till I passed my ICT exams. You need to be able to understand the ICT, not just English, maths, whatever subjects you teach. ICT is compulsory. For you to be able to get into teaching, you must understand ICT. So they need to start from that. I'm sure with this, there are good sides to this thing that is happening now, this COVID-19. The good thing is that we're able to see where we are really lacking. And, if they want to really bring about changes, which I've said in the past, that if the government really wants to do anything, really, really wants to do anything, they will find a way around it. Mm-hmm. So the first thing is that they have to make sure teachers are ICT literate. Then from there, we'll be able to progress on, so that if anything like this happens again, we'll be able to understand that, okay, now the problem we need to sort out is making sure students or pupils and parents finding a way to help them to get on board this online teaching. So far we haven't done well at all. We haven't done well.
That's just a fact that we haven't done well at all. From what you have said, you have been focusing on using the internet, using online platforms to learn. We have many children that do not even have access to this in their homes.
We can't say.
No. We equally have children that don't have access to. Proceed, madam.
Yeah, I was going to say, even if that was in place, let's assume that, teachers have that, teachers are ICT literate and all that. What about the social distancing in schools, in the classrooms? We've been to schools where there are about 100, 120 in a class. What do you do about that right now? I mean, we cannot just magic buildings and have the spacing. So there's a lot of problem in education, plenty problem that needs to be sorted. Sadly, it is not quick fix. It's going to take a while for these things to sort out. Now, one of the suggestions I made recently was maybe we turn to having two shifts, morning shift and afternoon shift, so that way, the social distancing can be applied. So we have some pupils or students coming in the morning, and then we have another set coming in the afternoon. For now, that's the easiest way right now. If we're talking about social distancing, that's the only way. That's one of the ways, I think, because schools can be built now. Structures can be put up now in this short period. So yeah.
All right. So how do we ensure that more children don't leave school at the end of the day as a result of this pandemic? Because according to a recent report by Save the Children International, of about 9.7 million children will be leaving school permanently by the end of this year as a result of the pandemic. So, and
approximately 10 million, yes. Mm-hmm.
About approximately 10 million, yes. So how do we ensure that these children don't, especially in many parts of the world, not only in Nigeria, there are some countries identified as high risk and medium risk countries, 12 high risk countries and 28 medium risk countries worldwide that have this issue. So how do we ensure that these children don't end up leaving school? How can we make sure that we keep the children in school?
For the developed world, I would say they will easily sort that out. They will easily sort that out. Let's focus on Nigeria. Now, we already have this law there, which is the Child Rights Act, which has not been activated as far as I'm concerned. It's not activated, it's there. I mean, we have so many laws in Nigeria that is just sitting there that some people don't even know exist. So talk about that law. There are some states they didn't even know about it. They even had to ask to find out if their states have implemented. So now, one of the ways we can make sure these children are in school, incentives. There's so many incentives. One of them, the most important, is feeding, even one meal a day, because some of these kids don't go to school, not that they don't want to go to school or not that their parents don't want them to go to school or get educated, but because they have to send them out to sell. If they don't sell, they can't eat. and some of their parents are not able to, are disabled, can't do anything. They need these children. We have young carers. There's a lot happening in the society, in our society in Nigeria, that the government don't have a clue about. Some of them people are just sitting in their offices, not getting their hands dirty, getting into the root of the problem, going out there, knowing exactly what is happening. We are there on ground. We know what is happening. There are children who, if they do not go to cell, cannot eat. So 1 square meal a day in school would probably help. Now, the Nigerian state has money. I would say has money. They do have the money to be able to provide necessary tools we need in schools. They have the money. I mean, if the government doesn't have the money, there are big people in every state who can decide to come together to assist to do this thing. I schooled in Nigeria. I did my primary, my secondary. It was a government school I went to. Ideal Girls School, Surulere, Lagos. That was where I went to. And then I went to Ilorin Grammar School. We used to have, we were treated. Sorry, pardon?
Proceed, madam.
Were you saying something, Amos?
No, proceed.
Yeah. The way we used to have meals, we used to have fruits, we used to have, it was fantastic. Yeah, I know people will say, yeah, maybe then Nigeria had money. Nigeria still has money. It still has money. It's just that education is not their priority. If it is, everything can be sorted. I'm being honest with you. Now, during this pandemic, who traveled out for medical checkup? Nobody. So if we have an instance where everybody's children have to be schooled in Nigeria, I can guarantee, the schooling system will change. Everything will improve. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for that. So moving on to other matters, you're very okay. Before we move on to other matters, you just made reference to the school feeding program. I understand that it is currently.
Yes.
They said it's currently ongoing. It's supposed to be currently ongoing, if not for the closure of schools, and they modified it somehow during this period. And in your perspective, would you consider it successful in achieving that aim that you are even talking about?
Yes, it will be successful if there's monitoring, because anything that succeeds, there's monitoring attached to it. We've had instances where in a particular state, they give this meal, and then these children come in when it's time. They know when the meal will be served. They come in to have this meal, and they're collecting their meal, they're leaving. So again, it boils down to the authority not taking control, being in charge, making sure if you're having this meal, you're in school and you are there from morning till whenever school ends. So there has to be monitoring. There has to be monitoring, but it does bring in children. That's a fact. It brings in children to school. It's just for them to know that they're not just there to collect food and go. Teachers or the school authority needs to put their foot down and say, okay, if you're collecting meal, you're sitting and taking your lessons before you leave at the end of the day.
Okay. All right. You talked about teachers' role in all this and the government. What's the role of the general society in getting children educated amidst
Yes.
this pandemic?
The role of what? Sorry, I didn't.
So what's the role
hear
of
what
the
you said.
society at large? Not this of the society.
Well, the role of the society at large is we can't all just leave everything to the government. Even the developed world, the so-called developed world, everything is not left for the government. Individuals who are capable, who have the funds, should be able to assist. It's just that sadly in this part of the world, when people assist, they want something back for it. Although there are people who assist, who do things, but 1, 2, 3 people alone can't do it. So the general society should find ways to contribute, to give back, to give back. If me and you should give back to the schools we went to, if we should give back, contribute, help, even if it's buying books, decks, or something, buying uniforms, that will go a long way to help. So we can't leave everything for the government. So the general society needs to find a way to contribute, to help in their communities. We all should be able to do that.
All right. So I understand that. Thank you very much. Understand that
Yeah.
EduMarshal is active in a few states like Kaduna, Oshun, and sometimes I think
Yeah.
Delta or Edo and all that. So
Yeah,
how have you worked?
we were in Delta. Yeah, we were in Delta,
Okay,
but
Delta is
yeah.
Delta then. So how are you ensuring that your collaboration with governments is extended to other states across the country in ensuring that more children are brought up, more out of school children are brought back to school?
Okay. Right. We were in Delta, but when the new administration, Okowa's administration, came in, Edu Marshall ceased to work in the state there for reasons best known to them. So we are presently in Kaduna and Osun State, and then we had the CPD aspect of Edu Marshall, which is the continuing professional development for the teachers in Plateau State. Now, what we have been doing, or rather what I have done with a few of my inner circle, my leadership team, is we've gone severally to the Nigerian Governors Forum to present, apart from the fact that we've traveled to about 35 states, 33 states, trying to sell this idea. And that brings me back to what I said earlier, that a lot of these people, they say, oh, yeah, fantastic idea, da, 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 da. But education is not what they really key into. It's not a priority in many of the states. I tell you, it is not a priority. Now, if it were to be a priority, in the first instance, probably there won't even be Edu Marshall, because there will be what we call the EWO, Education Welfare Officers. Every state, every school must have that. They don't have that now. Or maybe if they have that, those people are not doing their jobs. Because if they're doing their jobs, we'll be able to know which child is coming into school, which child isn't coming into school, what parents do we need to contact, which child is being abused. These are the things, these are the laxities we've seen, and this is where Edu Marshall is doing their very best. We're able to detect kids who are being sexually molested, so many, from 5 years upwards, by father, by uncle, So those are so many things we are doing, bringing to the awareness of the state government via the Ministry of Education. I'll give you a good example. In the case of Osun, we found, one of the examples we found, the state took it up. This man is still in prison. The President Commissioner of Education, took it seriously upon himself. The man in question is in serious trouble, is at the station. Same thing in Kaduna. So if other state governments can, because a lot of them have heard about Edu Marshall, we've done presentations at the Governors Forum. I personally have spoken to a few of them one-on-one. And then the promises would be, okay, you have to come to my state to be able to discuss this in details. Sometimes it takes forever. So we're doing our best. We're doing our bit to make sure this program is spread across the nation. It's just taking time, because in some of these states, education is not their priority. That's why.
Okay. So what sort of support systems can we use to sustain the efforts to eradicate illiteracy in Nigeria? I don't know whether you got the question I asked.
Amos.
What support system can be put in place in the bid to eradicate illiteracy in Nigeria?
I didn't hear you. You went off for a bit.
Oh,
I've
been here. So can you hear me now?
Okay, you went off for a bit from my side. Yes, I can hear you now.
All right. I asked that what support systems could be put in place in a bid to eradicate illiteracy? appears that the network at the other end is problematic once again, unfortunately. Madam, can you hear me? Huh?
Because softly doesn't get us anywhere. People tend to take action when there are consequences. So, for example, now when we talk about the Child's Right Act, there is a 500,000. I think there's 500,000 that any offending parent guardian will have to pay. A lot of people don't know that. So we have to have scapegoats. It's not just about supporting the system. It's about letting people know that, okay, yeah, this is what is happening and this is what we're doing. And again, the government needs to find a way to fund education properly. Education is underfunded. As little as pencil, we have children who don't have pencils. My EduMarshals from the little earnings, we get pencils, we get exercise books, we make uniforms. I can't even count how many uniforms I've made. Uniforms, school bags, socks, shoes, sandals. The states, different states need to be able to do this. They need to be able to provide support, so that when you're sanctioning parents or guardians who are not sending their kids to school, you're standing solidly on the fact that you have supported. You're ready to give uniform, you're ready to give the tools they need to be in school. But if you don't do that, and these parents can't even have one square meal, sometimes you don't blame them because they can't. So the government and the general public should be able to assist. We all need to find a way to assist via supplying these materials that are needed. And also the teachers, my God, the teachers in the government schools need serious support. Some of them, in one of the states we did training, some of them has not been on any training for more than 10 years, as far back as 10 years. So there's a lot, it needs to be overhauled. There's a lot that needs to be done within education.
Okay. Oh, thank you very much for that. So before we conclude this session, I would just like you to also, can you hear me, ma? Before
I didn't hear you. I heard you now when you said, "Can you hear me?" Yeah, I heard. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Can I talk about it?
Yes, I can now.
Okay. So we're about to conclude this. So you've talked about states. Definitely, basic education is responsibility of state governments in implementing. So how have you been able to get the support of the Universal Basic Education Commission in this respect?
I didn't hear your question.
How about
the
support of UBEC? How about the support of UBEC? How about collaboration with UBEC?
You mean EduMarshal or who are you talking about?
EduMarshal. You just share with your
yes. We've tried. We've had contacts with UBEC, but as you very well know, UBEC is like the father or mother of the whole thing. It's the states, the state universal basic educations. The SUBEB. They are the ones to key in with us. But the point here is everything boils down to the state leader. The SUBEB chair cannot on their own say, okay, yes, we want to bring this. We have tried it. We've tried it. Everything boils down to the governor of the state wanting this for the state. The states we're in, it is the governors that brought us in. It is the governor that says yes or says no. If the chairman of the SUBEB decides, okay, EduMarshal is very good to have in our state, and the governor says there's no money, then there's no point. So us partnering with UBEC is not the point. UBEC cannot force any state to take us on. So that's why it's to do with the individual state governors, and then the state governor, after they've taken it on, can link us with their chairman SUBEB. and yeah, that's the way it works. That's the way it works.
So far, if you have just joined us, we've been speaking with Ms. Stella Blaize, one of the private sector partners
Stella
in
Blaize, yes.
reducing the number of out-of-school children in Nigeria. So, yeah,
Yeah.
so
Reducing the number of
closing
out-of-school
remarks.
children in Nigeria, helping to train the teachers. Don't forget about that. Helping to train the
Oh,
teachers.
of course,
I'm bringing in new ideas. Yes.
Of course.
I'm bringing in new ideas which they are yet to buy. Kaduna State has bought that already, and if not for this COVID, this pandemic, which is the work experience and the special measures that was to roll out, that would have rolled out. So, of course, we don't need to go too far about this. Kaduna trends a lot when it comes to education. They are very, very passionate about education in that state. Yeah.
So from that end, I would just like you to give us your closing remarks.
Okay, yeah. My closing remark would be that education, not one person educates a child. When I was growing up, it's not just one person. It takes a whole community. It takes the whole state to train a child. So we almost find a way to partner with our community wherever we are. We must find a way to partner with our state government, with regards to moving us forward. Because if we wait for the state government, a lot is still going to be under, a lot will not be done. They can't do it alone. Even in the developed world, you have philanthropists who assist. So my passing word, or my word would be, we must all here in Nigeria find a way, to complement, to partner with the state government. Now, you might say, what are we doing? Of course, I'm getting paid for what I'm doing, but what we do is, if not for this COVID thing, we do have summer classes, free summer classes. We give awards, we feed, we go around to feed children. So we do our bit as well. So everybody else should find ways. We make uniforms, we print exercise books, pencils, we buy sandals, but we don't have to start telling the whole world what we're doing, even though sometimes it pays to let people know that this is what you're doing, contributing back. So we do contribute back, we give back to whichever states we are in. So my word is, everybody else should find a way to contribute, not just taking, looking for contracts and taking and not giving back, So yeah, that's my person.
Thank you very much. So there
Thank you.
You have it. Everyone is supposed to be involved in the mission to eradicate illiteracy and keep children in school during and after the pandemic.
Yes. Yes, I
so,
can I just say,
we hope
it's
that
one of the things.
From what we have discussed this evening, sorry, for our brief it was. Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to say this because we didn't say this. That's by the time schools be coming back, after this, pro-COVID, they need to find a way to have assembly drills. Assembly drills in the sense that they're able to talk people through hygiene, the children through hygiene and all that. Those are things that, they need to put into plan, pro-COVID, when we go back to say, yeah.
Of course, the federal government has released some guidelines in that respect, and definitely every state is expected to comply with that. So thank you very much for joining us, and thank you, Ma, as well. Bye.
Thank you, Caleb. Thank you so much, and well done. You're doing a great job. Well done. You're doing a great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.